All right, let's talk about traveler's diarrhea. Now, I know this is not maybe the most exciting topic. It may sound kind of disgusting, but if you travel for sports or maybe an exercise competition like a marathon or triathlon, or you play a team sport and you're traveling overseas, especially if you're going to a developing country, you have to think about this because traveler's diarrhea is the most common illness that you can suffer when you travel. And so there are some simple steps that I want to talk about to at least decrease your risk of getting traveler's diarrhea. Now, let's be fair. Most of the organisms that cause diarrhea in this scenario are based either in your food or in your water. So contaminated food and water are the #1 source. So when we talk about preventing it, that's where we're going to look to basically some simple steps to get over it. Now, the first step would be to avoid antibiotics. And that may sound counterintuitive because antibiotics are very effective at preventing basically bacterial-related diarrhea when you travel. But most infectious disease experts actually recommend not taking antibiotics because of the risk of causing antibiotic-resistant bacteria and other complications. So for most people, generally prophylactic antibiotics are not recommended when you head overseas or head to a developing country to compete in sports and exercise. The second one, and this was news to me when I started researching this, is in theory you could take sort of a protective dose of what's called BISMUTH SUBSALICYLATE, which is the active ingredient in Pepto Bismol. And at least the sources I read suggested 2 tablets up to 4 times a day, and you basically take it for the length of your trip. Now that can cause nausea, so that may be something that you test out maybe a little bit ahead of time. It's not going to prevent all cases, but at least the sources that I read suggested it can lower your risk maybe 50–60%. It's at least something to think about, maybe to talk to your doctor about before your trip. Okay, the other 2 are related to food and water, and that is basically dealing with contaminated sources. So I think the main thing that you think about is knowing about the water supply. You don't drink tap water. You avoid ice in your drinks. You avoid sodas that come out of a fountain that are mixed with tap water. So limit it to bottled water or other, pre-packaged drinks so that you're not actually getting contaminated water or contaminated ice from contaminated water that potentially sets you up for a water-related bacterial diarrhea. And then the fourth along with that is contaminated food. So you want to watch fresh fruits and vegetables, vegetable juices, unpasteurized dairy products, food from street vendors, that kind of thing. All of that sounds great, but you've got to be very careful, again, that you potentially set yourself up at risk for contaminated food. And if you basically develop traveler's diarrhea, it's going to just wreck your chances to compete well because you'll be so dehydrated, you'll feel really terrible, so your ability to compete at a high level won't be good. So take every step you possibly can to at least decrease the risk. I know it's not a sexy subject, but just some simple preparedness may help you avoid really a really rough trip. Talk to your doctor about it before you go. He or she may have some other advice for you. All right, have you traveled to another country to compete in sports or some fitness or exercise competition like a marathon or triathlon? And did you suffer diarrhea? Or did you take some steps ahead of time to prevent it? I'd love to hear your ideas, your suggestions, your experience. So below this video, share your experience, your trip, and basically how it turned out as it pertains to diarrhea. I'd love to read it, and I bet people all around the world would love to hear what you say as well. If you know somebody about to travel, please share this video with them, and hopefully they can avoid that problem when they go overseas. If you like videos like this and you want more information on sports and exercise, injuries, injury treatments, and injury prevention, subscribe to my video channel. I record 2 or 3 of these videos every single week. Just click the subscribe button in the upper right corner of the page and they'll get delivered directly to you. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope this was helpful. I look forward to seeing you right here next time.